Hey, I'm Mark, and today's project we're building a bookcase for a friend of mine, and he's going to be giving me a hand with it. It's going to have 4 shelves, adjustable, and it's going to be rustic mahogany. It's going to be sitting on a base, have molding around the bottom and crown molding around the top. It's raining outside, I guess y'all can hear that. And well, I'll take y'all back to the beginning, and then I'll also show you the finished product installed. Well, the first thing we want to do is get our sides ripped, and we set up 2 straight edges to guide on either side of the skill saw, and we set the blade depth where it just barely goes through, so we'll get a nice pretty cut. Well, I'll get Kyle on the saw. That is a nice pretty cut. That is the way to do it if you got some scrap aluminum you can use.
It's a whole lot easier than a table saw, that's for sure.
Alright, next we'll get the other side cut. Now we got our 2 sides. We need a top and a bottom. And we ripped 4 inches off. Now we'll cut our shelves, our top and the bottom, and our shelves all out of the other piece of plywood. Next we're cutting all the shelves, and we're going to cut them a little big, 1/8 or so, and then I'll run them through the joiner to get them perfect. Hey, I'm going to show you the correct shelf PNG. It's pretty simple to use. It comes with some molded plastic, and this rip fence goes on either side, and it gives you a jig for setting the depth of your screw of your drill bit you place it in the back side and then tighten your Allen wrench. And it's also a neat carrying place where you can carry it, and it has a pin that once you drill your hole, you set it, you drill your hole, then you stick your keeper pin, spacer pin, so that you drill that one and you drill all your other holes, and then you move it down, you stick that in your last hole drill, and then all your spacing. Just takes a lot of the work out of measuring and trying to keep your drill holes straight. Well, let's get started. Alright, next we want to take and put the top board on. Before we lay out the arch and all, I want to make sure I got the box just clamped together temporarily. We're fixing to take it apart and finish drilling the shelf holes. But before I do that, I wanted to go ahead and get this piece underway. And I just got it roughly lined up. I got it flush on the top. And we'll take our poplar wood here, and I've got it lined up. And since this is going to run all the way to the top, I'm going to take my razor sharp pencil and draw that, and that'll be my cut. We'll do that on both sides, and then we'll go ahead and lay out our arch design and get it routed before we screw it in place. The trick to laying the arch out, or any curves, is to take a really flexible rubber air hose, in my case, and just put you some points and draw it with a pencil. Well, next we'll get that to the saw and cut it out with the jigsaw. Next we're going to wrap it out for the 1/4 inch plywood that goes on the back, and we'll do the top and the bottom shelf as well. Well, next we're gonna glue in and brad nail the luan to the back of it. Well, next I'm gonna put some 2.5 inch screws in the corner, and I'm not using corner glue blocks. My client and or cameraman, he didn't want any glue blocks showing, so we're going to do it without it and see how it does. Next we're going to biscuit join the face part on, and I did go ahead and put in a glue box, blocks in the front. I talked them into it. Give it some extra strength. Well, we got that done. We're going to call it a day and finish it tomorrow. Well, next we want to get the shelves done. We had 7 inches of rain last night in 2 hours. Crazy. I trimmed this one down on the joiner and got it perfectly square, so I'm going to use it as a template for the other shelves. I got all my shelves cut. I got to put a board on the front of them, but before I do that, I wanted to go around, and I sanded everything real good, and I want to go around and use a wood filler on my cracks and all my nail holes. And this is going to be covered with crown. Actually, only 2 sides of this will be seen, the front and the right hand side. The left side's going against the corner wall. And there'll be crown molding and base molding. Actually going to build a block, a base for it to sit up another 4 inches. So all these screw holes will be hidden with mold. Well, let's get it finished wood filling and sanded, and we'll move on to the shelf. Kyle's applying the stain. It's a gel. I've never used a gel before. I've always used a liquid. Seems to be a little harder to put on, but it's a good color. And Kyle is demonstrating the smear method, developed by Monsieur Smear in 1871. Anyway, well, I'll show you when he's done. Well, it's the next morning, and Kyle's putting a coat of clear gloss polyurethane Minwax. And I'm not sure if we're going to put 2 coats or not. And I am working on 4 chairs, so I'm going to be using a satin polyurethane on them. Well, that's the finished product. Kyle added a 3.5 inch base to the bottom and the molding, as well as the crown molding on top. Of course, they still got to decorate it some more. He's got a 11-foot ceiling, so he needed something tall to fit in that spot. Well, we appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see y'all on the next video.